Alright guys, we're gonna try some devlogs. I've been working in Unreal a lot the past few months, and we've been building out a game. Um, I have a pretty good working version with a lot of stuff already in it, but it was all built in blueprints. Basically that needs to get moved to C++. It's more performant, considerably more performant, and I wish I would have done it that way to begin with, but it's cool because we got a lot of prototype code and blueprints to kind of feed off of. So, uh, yeah, we're going to do that. Basically, what I have done so far in this new project is I've pulled in a couple of our assets from the other project and I've set up my player character. I'll show you what I've done for this here in a second, but basically, we have this. Now, you can accomplish the same thing if you just started with a third person blueprint project, like a new project in Unreal 5, and you just pick third person, you'll get the mannequin, a little thing you can run around, jump. Our movement code is actually ripped from that project, so if we take a look, uh, we're gonna we're gonna ignore that. All that doesn't exist to us. Let's put this in our favorites. This is what now exists to us. Okay. So if we take a look at our player character here, I basically just copied this code over. Now, I am about to move this code because I don't want this in blueprints anymore. I want this in C++ now. So I'm about to create a new class spawned off of character in my C++. You haven't really missed too much. I kind of just got it prototyped and working here, and now I'm just going to move it over. You will see me copy over some. I'll probably open the other project. I can probably share that window when I do and show you how I migrate files over. I may also just take screenshots of it, feed it to Claude, which is the new AI, and it can spit out the C code for me from the blueprint. Just saves me some time. I don't want to have to type it all out if I don't have to. You'll also see me use ChatGPT for conceptual stuff, questions, approaches. It's a good tool to use in general. You may have some feelings one way or another about AIs, but I'm just going to tell you straight up right now, we do use them. We don't rely on them. We can do the work without them, but they do speed up our workflow. So I absolutely am not going to not use something that's going to speed up my workflow. If that bothers you, then just stop watching. Uh, if it doesn't, then I encourage you to use it and just keep going. Um, yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much my player character. I've set up, we have a modular character kit we bought on the asset store, which is what this model basically is. It's got different hairstyles, different uh, eye options. It does male, it does female. And again, it's all built modularly. And in the previous project, we were using Vroid models, and they worked. And we were able to have some modularity with them, like hair, eye color, skin color, uh, eyebrow color, and I think that was pretty much it. And hairstyle, hair color, hairstyle. So it was cool, and it worked out pretty good. If I when I pull that project up, I'll run it and show you guys kind of what that was like. But this kit goes further because it's got tattoos. It's a little bit. The style also fits in. The Vroid models were anime, and they weren't completely out of place. But this model's a bit more stylized, which is going to fit the kind of world that we're going to be building, which is going to be like a survival craft ARPG. So imagine something like Valheim, but with Minecraft's procedurally generated world. We do have the voxel plugin that we also have purchased, that we're going to be putting in, that gives us a fully generated voxel world so you can dig. And we want content. We want the whole world just packed with content, and we want kind of something like a Valheim or Enshrouded, or any other kind of survival game really experience, in the sense that you start with nothing, you have to collect resources, craft up your tools and weapons, build a base, farm, tame animals, fight creatures, go explore, mine, get more mining, better mining tools to mine better resources, yada, yada, yada. But we want We want not only that survival experience, but we also want a really deep RPG experience. So this is where the ARPG comes in. Enemies will be able to drop loot. Loot will have affixes. Character builds will be very in depth. We're going to have a lot of skill trees. Um, and we want you to be able to build a very diverse character in a very diverse way that you just don't typically see in survival type games. Um, and we want that loot experience, with the loot beams and getting that really cool legendary item and all that. But again, in a survival world. And we're going to offset that obviously with very challenging and difficult combat. We will offer sliders for people who do want a more casual or even creative experience. We will offer that, but the intended experience will be a little bit more Dark Soulsian. I don't want to say it's going to be entirely Souls-like or branded as a Souls-like per se, but the combat will be very challenging, very engaged. We want to offer different increments or levels of AI, so it's not just like damage sliders or health sliders. We want to offer different tiers of enemy AI, so if you're into that kind of gameplay, the enemies won't just hit harder, but they'll act smarter. You won't be able to build platforms up a tree, jump to the top of the tree, and cheese them with an arrow at the highest enemy difficulty because they're going to know they can chop the tree down. They're going to know they can destroy your platforms. They're going to use range tactics or AoE tactics, uh, flank tactics, anything they can do. The same kind of strategies that we as a player would expect to try to use against them to outsmart them, we want them to be able to use against us. And again, there will be varying degrees, and we'll have settings so people can tailor their experience, but we'll craft some presets as well to kind of give what we feel is like an easy or a normal or a real what we experience, what we intend for the true experience to be a challenge. Anyway, we'll talk more about all that as we go, but I just wanted to give you kind of a feel for what we're aiming for here. We want a lot of mechanics. We almost want you to play it and feel like, God, this has almost all the same content you expect from an MMO, from a survival game, from a full-fledged ARPG, but you're not really locked into any of it. Go do what you want. Giant, open, procedural sandbox of awesomeness. Whatever. We do have a pretty good story fleshed out. Basically, you are the final keeper. You are the last of the keepers. The keepers are beings that exist outside of space and time, outside of all like different realities, and they are responsible. They exist as anchors to keep realities in space time running. They're custodians, effectively, of space time, of what we call, I think we're calling it the Fate. I have a PDF with our story that we worked out some with ChatGPT and then we iterated on it, threw in some of our own ideas, and fleshed it all out. Um, and you are basically the last one. And what has happened is the keepers have all basically uh, broken down in a sense. Like some have, uh, uh, God, what's the word when you go AWOL, when you leave an organization? I can't think of it now. Dissented or something like that. At any rate, some have decided that they no longer wish to maintain uh, the fade or the space time or whatever the stream. Again, I have it in Notepad somewhere, but um, I think it's the fades. I'm just going to call it the fade for now until I figure out otherwise. Some don't want to maintain that anymore. They're tired of serving, so they've broken off and are now serving their own needs or will. Some have grown corrupted over time of watching humanity, destroy itself and its evil deeds. They've lost faith in the mission and instead think that it would be better if all humanity has ended and have worked to end humanity and life as they know it because they think that's better. um, some again have just fallen to corruption, like they do still believe in the mission, but over time they've become corrupted and twisted in weird ways. Some maybe have just fallen asleep. uh, have, again, lost faith and have just fallen asleep. Maybe some are still holding out. There will be a lot of different states, and there's going to be a lot of different keepers. And the main story is that as the final keeper, you start off weak. Uh, you corporealize into a human body, and you start off as like a weak, fleshy mortal. But the attributes that you have as the final keeper is that you are able to basically absorb all the other keepers. You can reabsorb their energies, and once you've absorbed all of the keepers, you have the choice to restore the world and restore the keepers, or do what you want with the Fade. Like basically, all of the segmented power of the custodians reabsorbs into you, and then you can choose to redivide that, set up a new system, whatever. We're gonna have multiple endings that kind of play on these concepts some, but as you go throughout the world and defeat the keepers, you'll gain new knowledge, new power. Um, you'll be able to level up to gain skills for skill points. You'll also earn experience and skill trees for doing the activity like farming, breeding, fighting, using melee weapons, using magic casting, yada yada yada. Um, so yeah, that's the story. There'll be multiple biomes. Biomes will kind of loosely be tied to keepers, but not on a one-to-one basis. There may be multiple keepers for a single biome, and you may encounter multiple different flavors of the same biome. We initially in the old project had the starting biome as the meadows, but I've recently thought of a new concept based on the keeper we had planned out for that biome, and I think that we're actually going to call the first starting biome the gardens, and that will be a unique biome that you never find anywhere else. But for other biomes like meadows, forests, mountains, desert, tundra, Arctic tundra, whatever we end up having. I don't know how we're going to subdivide all the biomes yet, but at a high level, it'll kind of be like those, right? You have hot, you have cold, you have trees, you have grass, you have water. We do intend to have a full underwater, just like Minecraft effectively in that regard, or just like other survival games where you can swim and go underwater. Intend to have a full underwater biomes and generations and everything. There's a whole swimming and breathing mechanic already set up in the old project. I'll be probably be pulling a lot of it over. Um, at any rate, so let's say that you have meadows and you find the keeper of the meadows and you clear the meadows, whatever. Later on, you may find more meadows as you go further out, and that meadows may then have a different keeper. And what we intend to do in terms of like scaling the world is we're going to do it a bit like a ring world. The world will be endless, procedurally generated. It'll do it in chunks. As you get further out, the chunks will procedurally generate. So the world's endless. But the gardens biome, which is unique, and your starting location will always be 000. Then the further you go from that 000 in any direction in a straight line, will basically be what scales or ramps up the kind of content you see, the enemy levels, and how difficult the world gets. So the world will start to feel more difficult, more punishing the further out you get. And in doing so, you can kind of control like what difficulty of content you want. If the content's too easy, just go further out. It'll start to get harder. If the content's too hard, come back in and start doing a circle instead of going in a straight line so you can clear more content closer to center and it'll be easier for a little while and you can level up there and then move out as you need. We want to make progressing out into the world very slow and very punishing at first. So, like, if you die, the intended experience will obviously you lose your items. Maybe not gear. I don't know. There may be a hardcore mode for gear. I know when I play survival games, I hate losing my equipment. I'm okay with losing my inventory and having to go get that back, but I hate losing my equipment because it's like, how the hell do you get how do you get your stuff back if you've lost your equipment? And it comes down to you having to keep spare sets of armor lying around. And then, if you die in that spare set before you get your original set, you need a third set. So then you start keeping 4, 5, 6 sets of armor lying around just for these niche situations where you run into a difficult situation and then you have clutter. I hate it. Um, you should be able to keep your gear. I feel like your gear, because then if you don't keep your gear, it punishes players or character builds that rely heavier on gear like, a melee class or a warrior class versus like a wizard class who can spawn and still have all their full magical arsenal. No problem. They're not really punished, and it's just not a good balance. So we'll probably have a setting for it. Players can set it how they like, but intention will be that you lose all your items, not your gear. I'm not a big fan of experience punishment either. I don't know. Um, Maybe experience punishment is okay if it's a small amount and it can be recovered if you don't die before. That I guess can be soul style. At any rate, further out you go, more different, unique, wacky biomes you start to uncover, more difficult shit gets. Progression will be slow at first because you'll have to. We're going to allow teleporting, but teleporters are not going to come right away. Teleporters will come late. Movement's a little bit wacky, but that's normal for mannequins and stuff. Uh, so like at first you can set up and teleporters will be base big. Like you won't just be able to set up a teleporter on a fly, go about your business, deconstruct the teleporter, move it, blah blah blah. When you set up a teleporter, we're gonna have raids, and raids are gonna be pretty intense. If you're gonna set up any kind of buildings or structures, you will want to defend it. Because if you don't defend it, you're gonna come back and it's gonna be in shambles. It's gonna be destroyed. And you won't get your resources back for destroyed things. You will get your resources back if you deconstruct it, but not if it was destroyed. So, yeah, you'll be able to set up teleports eventually, but the first teleports you unlock will be short range teleporters. So you'll have to set up like little way stations, little towers or something, and you'll have to defend them. And that will be your only option to set up any kind of like real network out into the world at first. Eventually, you'll get longer range teleporters so you can set up fewer stations to get further out. And then eventually, you'll get like an unlimited range teleporter. We also intend to have naturally occurring waystones be found in the world. So you may randomly come across like just a waystone chilling and you can activate it, which now becomes a teleport location. They're not going to be common and they're going to be like very farly placed from each other to ensure that you're not relying on these instead of building your own. But you will, if you do push out really far and find yourself kind of far away, if you commit and you keep going long enough, you probably will find a teleport back. And then you'll have some kind of way station into that area. Although not much in between them, of course, but, and because it's naturally occurring, these natural ones, enemies, won't aggro. So they're a little bit safer in that regard. Um, we'll probably have items that let you recall as well to any like teleport station or a base or something like that. But there'll be one-way trips in that regard. Um, we considered giving mages possibly the ability to work or do something with teleporting as well, but that might make it. We don't want it. We don't want any one skill tree to feel like unless it's a skill tree that's not build specific, that's like, farming or cooking or something that's like more of a job kind of skill tree, that we think is okay if it feels like a bit of a staple, because of course you're going to want to cook, of course you're going to want someone with high building skill, of course you're going to want a good farmer. And if you focus on all these skills, then you're not going to be able to focus on combat and you're going to have to make a choice. Skill points will be infinite eventually. With enough playtime you will be able to max out everything, but you're going to have to choose for a while because you're not going to be able to be good at everything right away. And again, to get skill point, you'll get some skill points as you level. So like from, you know, gaining levels, you'll gain skill points. But after that taps out, or you hit a high enough level to where you're leveling really slowly now, you'll have to rely on doing in-game content to get skill points. And it's infinite. You can do as much in-game content as you want. We'll offer it for seasonal stuff. We'll offer it for limited time event stuff. We'll offer it for just scenes and stuff you encounter in the world, doing dungeons, doing content, fighting bosses, whatever. So like you'll be able to get them, but you're not going to get them in handfuls. Like you're going to have to really build them up over time. So no one character is going to be able to be good at everything. So the strategy might be Obviously, it's going to be multiplayer. We do want PvP. You can work with other people to offset weaknesses and strengths. One person can focus on putting points into cooking, another person in your clan can focus on putting points into building, and another can do it into farming, and you all can help each other out. Or you can have grind out multiple characters where you have different skill points and just load them into the world, cook up some stuff, load them out, switch back to your other character. It's like doing a community thing, but solo effectively. Um, that strategy will be viable because, again, you'll get a certain amount of skill points quicker in the beginning when you're first going through your initial sets of levels than you will after you've kind of capped out on level. We may make level indefinite, but once you hit 100, like leveling past that point will definitely be slow, something like that. Uh, yeah, I think that pretty much covers all the concepts of the game. I probably didn't have to get into all that right now, but let's get to some actual work. So you get it, you get all this. First thing I would like to do is I would like to get a class created that derives of character, and I want this movement logic put into that class. And then all my meshes can basically just be added on, uh, and I think that should be alright. So let's give that a try. So we're going to do, this is called player character. I need a naming pattern. Character is the default class. I'm deriving it of character, but it's going to be in C++, so does it matter? Yeah, because the movement logic, you want that baked in. Could just add a movement component to it as well that could eventually or essentially initialize it. Could do it that way. Then I can keep this blueprint in, or I can keep this effectively at a higher level, and I can just add a movement component that doesn't have to get added to everything that would initialize this stuff here. That probably makes most more sense. So, all right. We'll call it what? Player input, player movement component. Probably player movement component, character movement, player movement. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. That's fine. Player input. Basically, that's what it's doing, right? Is player input. All right. So, remember how to do this right here. Classes. It's an actor component. Next. Let's keep it public because I'm pretty sure other things might need access to it at some point. We will call it player character input component, player character. Yeah, let's just call it input controller. Input interface, because there's already a player controller class, and I don't want to get them mixed up. Yeah, I know. Player character input interface. Input controller. I really feel like it should be a controller. Character player input. Let's call it input controller. No, let's call it a player character. Player character input controller. That makes sense to me. Create the class. Jump Studio is already open. Alright, I'm going to share the existing one. There's no need to share the new one. Don't be a big dumb. Okay, cool. So we now have my da and my da. Initialize when the game starts and to be ticked every frame. Can ever tick. I don't think we need ticks, so we're actually going to turn this off. We don't want ticking. Disable ticking. Turn on if you use on tick events. Don't use on tick events. Don't do it. Alright. Called when the game starts. Don't do this. Don't even do it. No one cares. Alright. Now, I forget what Super does. I haven't worked in I'm a software engineer. I do primarily business applications and node stacks. I haven't worked in a strict environment like this, especially in C++ in a while. I've worked in C Sharp recently, but I've also worked in Python and Ruby recently, but not to some extent. So let's just ask ChatGPT. Component, I created a new C++ class from the editor and it gave me this base code in the header file. Can you help me understand it? My first question is, what does super do? From the parent class, the class this component derives from. What does super do? Okay, so it's not the actor, I don't think. This class is an actor component. So does super mean the class that is actor component, or does it mean my actual actor this component gets attached to? In your context where this class is an actor component, super refers to the parent class of not the actor that is okay, so it's parent class, what it inherited from effectively. So its predecessor. So I should think of super as its predecessor effectively, but not its actor parent, not its parent game object. Okay, cool. So we're good there. All right, so that's fine. So that's just saying that this gets called on begin play, which is this header file or something, right? Why does it need to call super begin play to begin with? Oh, because of Unreal Core Engine bullshit. So, is it important to call it before my logic then or after? Yes, the order matters. Yeah, obviously. Best practice, call it first. Okay, so call parent classes begin play. Makes sense. I got it. Cool. So we're good on the C++ on the CPP file. Here is the code for my header file. Can you make sure this actor component can get used slash attached in blueprints? I think I need to use a different like U type or something for the class clarification. Blueprint spawnable. Oh, it's already there, right? Okay. Your header file already ensures the component can be used. Blueprint important part of this line is U class macro. Cool, 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 cool. Kill, kill, kill. Da 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 da. Sounds good to me. Called in the game. Start. Virtual void. Begin play. Override. Whatever. Called every frame. Tick. That's stupid. Don't need it. Yep. Cool. All right. This is good then. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this code here, the begin play code. We'll start there. I'm going to feed this to Claude because Claude is better at analyzing images. And I'm also going to copy and paste my C code, my header file here. It's already calling begin play, so let's tell Claude. Here is my, okay, I am creating an actor component that I want to attach to my actor, to my character class blueprint in Unreal Engine 5.4. I have the movement set up in blueprints already, but want to move it to my actor component, which is defined in C++, but blueprint accessible. Here is the header file for that actor component in C++. Here is the CPP file for that actor component. And here is the picture of my blueprint logic for the begin play that I would like to have in the actor component. Now we go back, get that screenshot one more time. Bah. Can you give me the code for the header and the CPP file, please? Player character input controller H, so let's bring it back up. H, what is it adding? Pragma once. I don't know why that should be in there, but I've seen it before, so we're going to add it. Oh, wait, never mind, I'm stupid. It was in the header. It's where it should have been. No one cares about this stuff. Input action value age. Why would I need that? Why did you split it up into player input controller? Nope, 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 nope. I did not do that correctly. Let's just start with the blueprint code in this picture. please create this code in CPP in my existing two files. Don't create a new class for this. Let's get the picture again. Wait, maybe it's got to zoom in so that I can see. Okay, understood. Here's the implementation. Cool. Cool. Alright. Player and controller, game work, character movement component H. Okay. That's already going to be on the character. But I still need it. Okay, so it wants to include this. Why is that like freaking out all of a sudden? What's your problem? It's just broken all of a sudden. No, that's fun. That's cool. Cool. Yeah, whatever. I don't want tick. I don't need tick. There's no reason tick needs to be on, so we're not doing that. Get off yourself on that one. Begin play. Refine component. Yep, cool. So that's what we did. Get a reference to the capture component. Nope, we're not doing any kind of tick, so don't even try that. That's not. Yeah, it's. Oh, God damn it. Please describe to me the steps performed in this picture. It's trying to pull in like the actual move code and stuff, and I don't want that. Event begin play now. The controller node with target and return value pins. Cast a player controller node. The player controller pin is valid node. Valid enhance input local player subsystem node. These steps appear to be setting up input handling for the player character. Yes, correct. I want the CPP code to do just this that you outlined. Jeez Louise. Alright, let's try this again. Player controller. Alright. Dude, seriously, don't. Why are you doing move action, remove add dynamic? That's not at all. It's not right. You put look code and move code, but did the steps you outlined include stuff for look and move? That's missing the bind. It is missing the. That is missing a few nodes. After we cast to player controller, the blueprints gets the enhanced input local player subsystem and adds mapping context to it. Maybe I should just leave that. That happens one time, man. Maybe I should just leave that in there because then it also allows me to pick the input context. So, you know what? Forget that part. I will leave it in blueprints. Let's just handle this part here. First, outline to me the steps. Then read the steps back to yourself and give me the CPP code to recreate it. Enhance input action. A look node is triggered. This node has two input pins. Action value X, which is connected to left right input pin. Action value Y, which connect up down input pin. Action value are used to handle. Okay, fine. So, how do we know it looks? It's weird, but whatever. We're gonna trust. So we actually don't need all this. We'll leave this alone for now. Crap. It just fixed itself. It's so funny sometimes. That looks good to me. If character movement component, which means we would need the code to still get character movement component. Character movement component, add controller output, get float 0, get float 1. If input value is undefined and value. Wouldn't that just be float? Why wouldn't that just be float? Just gonna build. That's because I have Unreal open. I have to close Unreal for a second. Yeah, I just save selected. Because if we're correct, then this generally should be it. So let's try it again. Build it. Look, it's not a member of. I think I have to add it, right? That's why I have to add it to public. Protected? Who knows? I Pretty sure it's got to be added to the header file. Okay, well, Claude is stupid, so back to ChatGPT. Begin play called and the game starts. Virtual void. Going to assume. Isn't that just calling it? Yeah, I think so. This is defining it. This is the one defining it. This is the one calling it. This doesn't need to, like, be here or happen, I don't think. Okay. So now it's good? Not good. And assume C does not support default and syntax missing da before da and da. Okay, well, we'll start one thing at a time. Said no such thing about set headers, but okay. Top of my header file. Cool. Input action libraries. Core library. There's one for the thing. I don't need it here. This is good to go. Alright, build it. Build solution. Still doesn't like it. Include found after generate H file. The generate H file should always be the last include in the header. Huh? This. I don't know what this actually does, so we call it a doohickey. Nope, we are getting somewhere. Obviously, I knew that was going to be an issue because it's not lit up, but... Oh, I just have to do forward declaration. Okay. I can't just define things on the fly. This is not JavaScript. This is strictly controlled language. Fun, fun. Also, put that in the wrong spot 'cause I'm a dummy. Not using it here. Don't need it there. Using it here. Okay, so we're good here, we're good here. U character movement component. Wait. U character movement. Here. Oh wait, this wasn't the header file. The hell? So I wanted it here. And then under private. I guess that's alright. It'll give me reference to it. Next, sir. So it says that it should actually be this instead. So we didn't need that freaking character movement component set up at all. Wow. So then, unnecessary and unnecessary. Oh boy. Let's split the vector apart. Yeah. Will you build now? It looks like you might build now. Now, if we did that correctly, we can hopefully opening Unreal Engine back up. Give me a second. There we go. Start my asset. Cool. So this is, look, we should be able to just nuke this. Let's not take it off entirely. Let's just unbind it. If we save it and we run our project, we can move around, but we cannot look. That is expected. Now, if we add our component to it, which is the player character input controller, shabing, shaboom, we don't need it to start with tick. On component activated, component deactivated. None of that needs to really matter. It should reasonably do the thing. It did not do the thing. Interesting. Look. Okay. So, in blueprints, I am getting reference to player controller and then getting reference to enhance input local player subsystem. Then from that, calling the function add mapping contacts. I am passing in the reference to my data asset input mapping contacts, to my data asset input mapping context, which defines my enhanced input actions. I confirmed it works when using blueprint code to perform the controller yaw pitch, but with my component added, it's not working. Let's make sure it's not something silly like I need to activate the component, auto activate. Yeah, still can't move. Input's not mattering. Okay. Da, 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 da. If the input logic works, if you input adding your input. Enhance local player input system, player get subsystem, enhance player symbol player controller. If input subsystem, add mapping contacts, my input mapping contacts. Uh, Step one is happening in setup input components, setup input component, enhance input component. Bind action, my look action, triggered look. Aha. Is key. In Blueprint, I capture the enhance input look event and run code execution flow off of it. So does that mean I just need to bind in the CPP code for that input event? I'm going to have to kill this window again. We'll go back to the other one. Alright, cool. So setup input component. We'll do it in the begin play. Create the enhanced input component. This component's begin play would already have begun, right? Should be here in the begin play. And this is going to be called what it was called in, which is just look, I think. IA look, I don't know. No, I wonder if that was part of the problem. Before I do this, hold on, before I do this. Actions, it's IA look, IA look, where'd it go, 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 look, 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 IA look. But, whew. I think it's actually called IA look. Okay, well, it understands, so. Enhance input component, enhance input subsystems, got it, got it. And we're going to access the, does it go here? No, it goes here. So I think we have to, use the begin play. Nope, that's the only thing defined. Alright, we need reference to the input action, which is only in blueprints. So we have two actions. We can bind it. Okay. Let's just bind in blueprint. So can I just make my look function exposed to blueprint so I can call it from the event bind there? And then we don't need this code here. Modify the header file. Add the blueprint callable specifier to your look function. Okay, so we have my look function, which is uClass. That already has it, right? Yeah, that already has it. Right here, no, right here, right here. Yeah, that has it. Cool. Just put under public is basically what happens. Which I did already, basically, but fuck his category. Ah, where the fucking junk go? Yeah, sure. Sounds good to me. So if we do this, save it, save all, build it. Built. Open. All right. Doesn't matter. So what we'll do then is we'll get this, and we'll do look. Only exactly matching structures. Oh, I will murder you. Vector 2D structure. Input action value structure. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Alright, we gotta fix that. Close it again. Okay, just for clarity, it needs to be vector 2D structure. Yeah, go. Player blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Action value. Owner pawn. I don't know that it understood the question correctly, so let me clarify. It needs to accept this. So here, set this. Means here would become this. Very good. We can still do the cast to pawn owner. Very good. If owner pawn. Oh, it's going to do it, isn't it? I hate that format. I'd prefer it the other way, but whatever. Because when you fold it, oh no, it folds correctly. Alright. Complaint withdrawn, I guess. Still an extra unnecessary line, but whatever. Be a dick. And then it's just look input X, look input Y, look input. I don't have to convert it. It's just good to go. Came in as needed already. Right. Now let's try this again. Boom. Now, if all was done well, we should have our behavior back. Yes! And all that is running in C code. Oh, that's so glorious. Ah. All right. Next up. Boom. 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 I hate that. Better. Perfect. Let's make sure it works on controller. Pretty sure it would, but just to be sure. Yep. We could. Look at that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Da, 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 da. Now this whole movement input's going to need to get repeated. We get controller rotation, we get the right vector, and then we add movement input based on the action value X and the action value Y. All right. So the first thing that will be obvious is going to be that we're going to need a move function, and it's going to be make a look function, make it callable from blueprint. They do what they do. Make a move function going. Cool. Yep, sounds good. I'm gonna clean this up because it bothers me. Okay, cool. Good. You're good. You're good. value good here. Look. Cool. This one function, okay. Then, oh wait, let me switch the window, sorry. So I've got this set up. I've got this set up just to mimic it. I renamed this to input value just for good measure because I'm going to be copy pasting and I want it good when I copy paste it. Uh, so then movement. So we need to try to replicate what's in Unreal here. So let's explain what's happening to ChatGPT. The blueprint code goes as follows. The move input fires. We do X, right? Vector 2D structure, yep. Vector structure like with the look function. Then we call the add movement node targeting the pawn and pass in for world scale get controller rotation node, but only passing forward the x and z values into a get right vector. The get right vector with the x and z input y zeroed out is fed into world direction, and the x value of the input is fed into the scale value, and force is checked true. So we need a Kismet math library. Game framework controller. Character movement we have, right? No, we do not. Character slash from here. Get the controller for the owner pawn. Yep. Get the controller's rotation. Get controller rotation, which is basically what the C++ is doing, right? Get controller rotation. Yep. You just have to get reference to, but that's fine. If we're controller, owner, get controller. That's my controller. Get the controller's rotation. Yeah, control. Convert the controller's rotation to a forward vector. Now wait a minute. It was converting it to a right vector, not a forward vector. The x value was being converted into a right vector using the x and z values of the controller rotation. not not a. I mean, pretty much we should be able to just duplicate. It didn't quite understand, but uh, we know that we don't want. We want to write. Oh, it's doing both. Wait a minute. Get forward vector, get right vector. How do we know it's ignoring the z-axis and why? Why? That doesn't make sense. Get controller, and then we get the right vector. Only ya, using only ya. No, we want to. You're killing me, man. Alright, so let's just duplicate what we see in Unreal. In Unreal, we see get controller rotation. In Visual Studio, we have controller rotation. Then we get right vector, feeding it the controller rotation on the X and the Y, which ChatGPT says we can control by this. F rotator, by creating a rotator, and then we do, so we create a rotator like this, okay, and then we're going to use the roll and, no wait, we're going to use the roll and the yaw, but not the pitch. The roll and the yaw. The right vector should use the roll and the yaw, but zero the pitch. Alright, ChatGPT is not very smart. It's confusing itself now. Oh, so it's just going to zero out the pitch? I guess that's no, you can't do it that way. No, don't do it that way. Make a rotator. I am reusing controller rotation. Oh god, this thing is bad. Except rotation for the roll and the yaw and zeros the pitch. Thank you. Is that so freaking hard, man? Basically, I didn't know what order they came in. I could have typed it out myself, but I wasn't sure. It's yaw, roll, pitch, get controller's rotation, in pitch, yaw, roll. Oh, it tells me right here. I could have just read this. In pitch, yaw, roll. So pitch should be 0. Yaw and roll should be whatever. Pitch, yaw, roll. Boom. And then the forward vector should be relatively the same thing, except looks right to me, except for an Unreal on that one. We were doing the, you do just Z. Just Z. So 0 for the roll, 0 for the pitch, and then you just bring in the 0 for the roll, 0 for the pitch, bring in the yeah. Sorry, bad joke. 0 for the roll, 0 for the pitch, and bring in the yaw, right? 0 for the roll, 0 for the pitch, bring in the yaw. 0 for the roll, 0 for the pitch, bring in the yaw. Cool. That now replicates this appropriately. Then we need a world direction. Nope. Literally the vector's what's getting passed in, so this doesn't matter at all. Because from there, we're doing add movement input, not add input vector. And it would be pawn, probably be owner pawn. Let's try it. Add movement input, of course. Do we need the controller? Yeah, to get the other stuff, but we didn't need the movement component. World direction, which is an F vector. So for the first one, we do this twice. And for the first one, we're going to add in, I gotta remember to switch the window, sorry. So this is where we're at in the code. So we got this worked out. And then we didn't need that last bit, so I took it off. So then we're gonna do owner, pawn, add movement input. Uh, and then we need what we feed into the first one, which is the right vector and the x value. So right vector, x value, easy breezy. And that's a look input or input value. We can use it like we did up here. So then it would be right vector. Come on, man. Input value x, right? And we want to force it to be true. And then we would do forward vector, the y value, and I believe we were forcing it to be true in both instances. No, we did not force the other one. That's kind of peculiar. Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. No need to force it. Haha, haha. Sorry, bad joke. Okay, yep, and yep. Now, we do want the character movement component, which it had given us, and I took it out. So let's get that back. So then we're going to add this little bit back here. Capital Y. Uh, get character movement component so we can have the pawn make noise. So then what we need to replicate is character movement component movement component, if movement component, and movement component dot is are you being stupid? Oh, syntax, Jeff. Syntax is crouching. Is crouching. Is crouching. Then we do owner pawn. Pawn make noise. Loudness is 0.22. Location is just like oh wait, the noise location would actually need to be the location of the actor, wouldn't it? Get actor location, that's the noise location. Use noise maker location, I guess that's true. And then noise maker, use noise maker. Oh, use noise maker location. Let's do a collector. An F rotator. F, gonna do F vector. Wants what? F vector. Just wants an F vector. So just F vector. Yeah, that probably should work. And then the noise maker needs to be an A actor. Looks good to me. Oh, sorry. Gotta remember that. Gotta remember that. All right. So basically, we get the movement component. We check if the character's in a crouching state. If movement component and not. Wait, should I be using the whole is valid thing? I just want in the if statement logic that states component and not is crouching. Thank you. This is so hard. So the movement component's valid, and they're not crouching. When they move, they gotta make noise. Cool. That should replicate everything in here, so let's kill it. Build it. It seemed to go just fine. Pop this back open. It's weird, but okay. Oh, because I changed the name of it. That makes sense. But now, if we uncheck this, compile and save, I would expect that we can look around but not move. Joystick as well. Look around, not move. Correct. But if we then combine structure pin, triggered to move. No, wait. You literally just called the function move, you dum-dum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So you should have called it something else. So well, I'm pretty sure this is gonna function now. And then if I did everything correctly, we should be able to run around just like before. Yes, sir. This is all running in C now. Look at that, so beautiful. Joystick as well. Yep, joystick as well. All right. Can jump and everything. Cool. Cool. So then all of this goes bye-bye. We'll assume she's making the noise. Hard to tell. Yep. Movement input. Good to roll. Cool. All right. Boom. Next up will be this, which is gonna also be make noise. We should make a function for that, so we don't have to call it a whole bunch of times. All right, cool. Back to the code. All right, so then we're gonna make a new one. We're gonna call it private void make noise. That's it. about this. Character, input, controller, make noise, don't need anything else. Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha, chua. Make noise. Boop, 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 boop. Make noise. Chua. Right? Everything good? Everything happy? Everything content? Gucci? Cool. Next up. Make a, so we describe this as a function to move the player character. CPP function to move the player character. CPP function to move the player camera. And this is what we call jump start to start the player character's jump. Jump stop. Now, in the C code for jump, are we taking anything in? We are not. So these don't need anything here. And we're good. Go back to here. Moment. Function to handle jumping start. What's up, buddy? Don't go outside, right? When we finish the jump functionality, we'll be done moving all of our character movement code to C++, and then I will take you out, my boy. Okay? Okay. You're so soft. You're so soft here. You're such a soft boy. You're such a cool. You're so cool. Just give me a few minutes. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Let's go get the jump code. Let's go get the jump code. Right there. Hold on. Hold on. Alright, so jumping start. Jumping start is going to be uncrouch, jump, and then pawn make noise. So I think if we just do this first, right, we can then do this, which is going to uncrouch, uncrouch, incorrect. Why are you being stupid? Why are you being stupid? Please stop that. That one was my fault. I will eat that one. Owner character. Da, 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 da. Why it be like this? Yo, what is your problem, my dude? Actor can also be. It's referencing self. Self is a player character, which is character class. A character. My ID is stupid. What is What's your problem? Pointer or reference to incomplete type A character is not allowed. Jesus. Yep. Mm, we have to get the movement component. Uncrouch. And then jump. Of course not. That'd be too easy. Okay. Get the pawn and character component. One belongs to one belongs to the other. Validate both references and do logic. Character. New component's gonna uncrouch first. We gotta figure out where jump's coming from. Doesn't like that. Oh, doesn't exist. Where's the jump function? Just jump. Do jump? Jump? Okay, hold on. Let's go back to Unreal. Jump. Target is character. Has to come off the character. Maybe I need a header file for this. Maybe that's the problem. Include game character age. Controller age, character age. That indeed is the problem. And now it recognizes. Does it also recognize uncrouch? It does. I should have known. Okay. I was doing it right the first time. Don't need that. Don't need this. Don't need this. Nope, we just do make noise. Dun, 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 dun. That's it. Basically do the same thing for the stop, so then we just stop jumping. That's it. Literally just stop jumping. Probably make noise when you land, not Sean. That should be it. Okay, kill the Unreal. Open it back up. Yep, now just like before, if I take off the... If I take off started and stopped, I would expect nothing to happen. This also works fine. Jump cannot jump. Now let's undo all of this. Wait, and it was triggered and completed, right? Started and completed. So started, well now we get another reference to this. Start. Jump start. Bam. And we do jump, jump stop. Completed. And if it all worked out well, boom, we jump. Perfect. That's all Seco. Booyah, 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 booyah. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have to get this working for multiplayer. It'll be fun. So pretty good though. Standard character movement completed. So we can delete all this. Save this over. Yep. Yeah. Jumping pole. There we go. It's good to go. Cool. All right, guys. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna work on some multiplayer.